And welcome back to the Nose Plays Slay the Spire. This is our second video in the Defect series. We are now in Act 2 and we'll be trying to make a run at our third successful character to the top of the Spire. We had a very, very good run through Act 1. A very strong run. Finished with about half of our health. Really could have taken the 20 damage and had a little bit more max health at this point if we wanted to. But I was scared. I had had some bad runs off camera and was not in a good headspace. So I wanted to take it a little bit cautiously. But I feel like we're in a really good position. I think our game plan for this run has shaped up pretty well. And now we have a difficult decision to make, and that is whether or not we want to take one of these two relics as our boss rewards. I think because this relic completely cancels out the benefit from this relic, it's less useful to us. And so we're going to go ahead and go with the Fusion Hammer this run and see if we made the right call. This is going to prevent us from being able to use the Smith to upgrade our cards, but we still have the ability to add a new card to a deck, and that could very well be an upgraded card when we draw, especially going into Act 3. So this is also going to allow us to play a bit more aggressively, because we know that every rest site is basically going to be a heal from now on out, and we won't have to put off the healing for upgrading. We're going to be fighting the champ at the top. We actually do really well against the champ, I think, especially with the build that we have running so far. Obviously, we want to sort of hone our damage output at this point and maybe get a little bit more card draw to cycle, a few more big defensive plays would be nice, but I think all in all we could probably almost beat the champ right now with the deck we have. I think he's not particularly scary. So let's take a look at what we do have. There's a Burning Elite here. I think getting some good elite fights this run is going to be critical to our success because of our inability to upgrade cards. So I see a path for a double elite, but not a triple elite. In fact, there is only a double elite opportunity this entire run. The other thing that I'm rather disappointed to see is that there are no merchants. Where are all the merchants at? Usually you get an early merchant somewhere. The earliest merchant that we're going to see is all the way over here. I don't know how important it is to rush the merchant at this point. And there is no scenario where we can get double merchants. So this is kind of a bum deal for the money that we have accumulated, but it does mean that we're going to have even more money by the time we do get to a merchant. Let's look at rest sites. So I see 1, 2. Yeah. Boy, this is just a tough... All of the options are really difficult here. I'm not liking any of our choices. 1, 2, 3, 4 fights, a question mark, an elite. Double question marks, that gets pretty easy going the rest of the way. A campfire. It's probably the easiest route right here. 1 elite, 1, 2 campfires, 3 campfires. The way that we have to think about campfires is campfires are basically like a fight. We get a free card reward at every campfire and healing. So taking extra campfires is not going to penalize us too much. It's like 4 question marks into a campfire, into 2 question marks, into an elite, into a merchant. Or we have to take like 3 question marks into an elite, into a second elite with no campfire in between, into a merchant and only 1 campfire on that path. Elite, campfire. I like this. Into a merchant. Into a second elite. This is guaranteed healing. We get 2 easy fights, 3 question marks, an elite, healing, and another card. Fight, reward, fight, pay out all of our gold. This is the part that gets scary to me. Fight, 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 campfire. Depending on how strong we are at this point, fight, fight, fight could be a little bit dangerous, but we're definitely healing here, so maybe this is the best route. Alright, let's go ahead and start here. We'll decide if we made the right call here in a moment. Okay, so birds. Birds are interesting. They have multi-attacks and they're resistant to attack cards. However, they're not resistant to skill cards that deal damage or our orbs. So 3 attacks will knock them down. That means we can knock one of these 2 down. We have 3 strikes. We'll take 5 damage. And we can multicast this to evoke our orb. The other option is we evoke the orb X times, which would be 4. It's 32 damage. Unlikely to kill any one of these guys because it's going to be spread out. 4 strikes. That is the most damage that we could deal, but then we definitely take 10. I'm not a fan of that. We could play the leap and 3 strikes. Yeah, we have 4 energy. So leap and 3 strikes to knock one of these birds down, or leap and multicast. We lose our orb, but we hit 3 of them for 8. I think knocking a bird down is definitely the play. And we could set up one of them for lethal. Or we could knock this one down. Which means he won't do his charge attack. So this charge up just buffs his damage and makes him more dangerous moving forward. Knocking him down will cancel his attack. We're only going to take 1 point of damage if we do that. And we set up the highest health bird for death. Now, unfortunately, we can't evoke our orb because we have nothing energy-wise. So we'll just let it strike and move on to the next turn. Alright, Melter takes him down to 1. Sweeping Blade is great here. And we get the card draw, so let's go ahead and do that for sure. Melter's lethal here. It's significantly weaker on both of these guys. Zap is pretty much guaranteed. Self-repair would be nice. But I don't think we're going to take a lot of damage here. Go for the Eyes applies weak this turn, even though it doesn't do much damage. I think it will remove all of his damage. So that prevents all of that damage. And then we just Melter here. And we still have enough to play the self-repair. I like that. That felt pretty good. Lightning Orb's doing some work. Alright, we've got to deal with this guy. So we've got 11 and 5. Yeah, we have enough to block everything. So that feels pretty good. We may not need to, depending on how our attacks go. I do like the Loop Plus, and the Ball Lightning adds another lightning. I think we try to set this guy up for death. With Ball Lightning and Loop. Now I can Orb twice. This actually kills somebody. Or it makes both of them very close to lethal, and the 9 damage possibly kills somebody. I think this is worth it. It's only going to be 6 damage. Okay. So that wasn't exactly ideal, but Auto Shield still blocks most of this. And we have healing at the end of turn, so no worries. Okay. 3 cards, 2 of which I'm interested in. We have a Stack Plus, so this is already upgraded. Gain block equal to the number of cards in your discard pile, plus 3 per card. So this card is one of those very, very big blocks at the right moment. But it's also like very, very small amount of block at the wrong moment. High risk, high reward use of defense, basically. Definitely has the ability to pay off in a boss fight if you cycle it into your hand at the right time. Static Discharge. Whenever you receive an unblocked attack, or attack damage, I guess, channel 1 lightning. Remember, channeling a lightning puts a lightning orb in our last slot, or forces the first slot to evoke and to make room for one. So this is a way to evoke a lot of lightning orbs. This can be extremely powerful. The upgraded version is significantly better. We're definitely focusing a lot on lightning. And I think the question is, at this point, do we feel like we need more defense or more attack? And I'm kind of leaning towards more attack. More ways to deal damage. We have quite a few defensive answers. We still have all of our original defend cards too. We haven't removed any of those. So I think I'm going to go with the Static Discharge, even though it's not upgraded and we're not going to be able to upgrade it. I think it's good enough on its own. I may come to regret that. Alright, this is another enemy that Melter is just made for. Unfortunately, we have no defensive cards in hand. That also means a lot of defensive cards are coming up. Having both of these in hand feels kind of bad. I think this is pretty much guaranteed. We know we're taking damage this round. So that's essentially something like 7 block. That gets us another orb. Dual cast actually breaks through the armor and hits him with the second one. Multicast does the same thing. So this is better because it's cheaper. And that allows us to then strike. I don't... do I want to just... I think... I mean, this is a lot of damage in some ways. But it's only 8, actually. 8 damage. We get 8 damage in 3 turns. Basically, we get 9 in 3 turns. So he's going to be alive a lot longer than 3 turns, unfortunately, due to his armor. I think we just keep this. We're going to find use for it. Almost considering whether vulnerable to deal with it here. Loop is really helpful. Loop would be unplayable right now if we had evoked this. So this is another reason why we want to be able to play this. Then I can play 1 leap. I need 12 block. Yeah, this is kind of a wasted turn. Because we're not going to get through his block. Okay, Static Discharge could come in handy here. Melter's good here. Sweeping Blade's good here. So it's Melter first. Sweeping Blade. And now I have decisions to make. We can block all the damage with the 2 defense. But that means we're not going to get any more of our Cool Kid cards out. Or we take 5. Also, he lifesteals every time he deals damage to us. I think we're just going to have to play the long game here and slowly whittle this armor plating down to where it's more manageable to get through. Static Discharge is back in hand. Go for the Eyes is good here. But unfortunately, we have nothing to follow it up with. Doesn't mean we don't need to play as many defensive cards, but that's all we have in hand. So that's definitely being played, and then 21 block. Okay, we got 2 defends. That is not a defend. I think Ball Lightning. Do we have lethal here? This is 16. And then this makes 9. I think this is lethal. No. 16 plus 2 orbs would only be 6, so 22. glad I took the time to check for lethal. The health regen is already coming in quite handy. I really like recursion. It's awesome when it costs 0. But I think this might be our first skip. I like keeping the deck small at this point. It's working pretty well. We're getting a little bit unlucky with the draws where all of our defensive cards and all of our offensive cards seem to be piling up. And that's a little unfortunate. Yeah, I think we're going to have to skip. Recursion is pretty cool. So it evokes your next orb and then rechannels it at the end of the stack. When you only have one type of orb like we do at the moment, it's basically a free evoke. It's not quite as good as the dual evoke for one, but it regenerates the orb that you spent, so there's that. I think we're skipping that though. So hopefully we get some good events here. 75 gold to remove a card from our deck. I am down to spend a little gold for that. And I think I'm going to remove one of our basic defense. Remove all strikes, receive 5 bites, lose 25 max health. If we had more of our strikes, I would consider this. But since we're down to only 3... Actually, wait a second. Oh, this is a little bit different than I thought it was. So it removes all your strikes and gives you 5 bites. It doesn't replace each strike with a bite, which is what I thought it originally did, and maybe it did at one point in time. Is having more attack cards what our deck needs? We're going to get 2 more attack cards. Boy, if I had known that, I wish I would have removed a strike instead of a defend last turn. This pulls us down to like 58 total health, but we have a significant number of ways to heal moving forward. And it's just generally better than all of the strike attack cards that we've collected so far. I'm really struggling saying no to this. I'm gonna do it. We're now a vampiric robot. We'll see how this plays. Kind of a bad opening hand. It's not terrible though. 1, 2, 3 attack cards. This is probably the one we want to focus down first. No need to play either of these. Alright, our first bites. damage potential. We deal 14 here. Dual cast for 8 times 2. That's a chance to kill him. And then loop. No defend. Rely on our healing to carry us through. Or our luck. We can dual cast first and then decide if we want to... Okay. Yeah, so I think this is definitely worth now because the odds of one of these striking him is probably good enough. We'll have 2 chances. Alright, 2 chances to save some health. Yes! Luck was with us. This will hurt a little bit, but that's okay. We're gonna probably play self-repair. This is a lot more damage than I was anticipating seeing. Can lower it by a little bit. And now we just play our hand, because that's all we have, so... Where's our bites at? There's 2 of them, and a sweeping beam, and an auto shield. So I like this quite a bit. Sweeping beam, bite, bite, auto shield. Yeah, that feels pretty solid, and then we're set up in a really nice place to finish this game. Yes. Ooh, okay. Well, we have the kill, but if we could get another bite in hand, that would be nice. So let's go ahead and try for that. And we did. Alright, not bad. A second copy of Melter. All of these cards are upgraded. This is definitely a good hand to pick something up. Equilibrium. A very good block card. Not as energy efficient as some. 2 energy to gain 16 block, but this occasionally allows us to retain critical cards in our hand for a turn and play them the following turn. I really like that idea. I like having that flexibility in our deck. Recycle. Exhaust a card in your hand. Gain energy equal to its cost. Like, we don't have any high energy cards. The way that I envision this card being super effective is in conjunction with cards like this, these X multiplier cards or evoke. So like this one in particular that deals damage. Let's say you have a card that has 3 energy, but maybe it's a power that's not like always super useful. You recycle that, get a bunch of energy, and then play the multicast. The problem with that kind of a setup is it requires too many very specific cards to be in hand to really be reliable. But when it goes off, it can go off pretty hard. I don't think that this suits us. Melter Plus would be great, but only in certain fights. And I think our damage is not our problem. It's going to be maintaining our health pool, which is now quite a bit diminished. So I think this is going to give us some more tools to do that. Okay. This is the go time. We only have 1 potion, and this is a burning elite, so this could be very, very dangerous fight. The only good news is immediately after this fight we get a heal. And so we have a little bit of a reprieve. So I think we take it. Okay, this is one of the tougher fights for sure. Opening with Sweeping Blade in hand feels really good here. Not having something like auto shields, not so much. Multicast, not a good card to draw. Typically, the way that this fight works is you want to focus this guy down first, then this guy, and then this guy in that order. This one is by far the most dangerous because of his net attack that he'll throw at you, which can really screw up your turn. So the highest damage potential card we have is this, and then it's just a question of whether we want to double bite or try to save a little bit of health with a defend. We're definitely going to single bite. This actually does gain us essentially 2 block. So it's gain 2 block and deal some damage, or gain 5 block and deal no damage. I think that makes it, because we're not at full health, that makes it this card. Now he's set up for next turn. Ugh, they have regenerate. That was their flaming bonus. So the way the flaming elites work is there's a handful of flaming bonuses that they get. Regeneration is one of those. So they regenerate 5 health every turn, which is going to make this fight a bit of a slog. The good news is we got the damage we need to clear this guy, and he is about to do his net attack, which is scary. So let's get him off the field right now. Oh, I forgot. We're weak. We're going to need all 3 of these to get him off the field. I'm okay with that. Then the next thing we do is conserve a little health with the weaken and auto repair. That makes this fight a lot less scary. Especially if we could get Static Discharge out. Static Discharge, Reinforced Body for 21. That's a play. Ball Lightning, Reinforced Body. That's also a play. So what I'm looking at is 21 points of defense if we play this for 3 energy, which means we can play one of these 3 cards. This will give us another lightning orb and deal a little bit of damage, which means we'll basically be back at this even spot but with an extra orb next turn. This puts the ability to channel orbs into play, but only when we take damage, and we really don't want to be taking too much more damage. So I think we're going to go with the safer decision this round, and then hope we get better draws. Loop is coming up. Loop's going to be helpful. This is an absolutely atrocious hand, but the equilibrium makes it less atrocious. I definitely want to play the loop. I could play defend equilibrium. That gives us 21 block again, and we get to retain the 2 defensive cards we need for next turn. The downside is he's going to regen again, and we didn't deal any damage this turn, so we're not really making any ground. Okay, we finally got back to our bites. We're no longer weak. We have a bunch of cards in hand. We only need 14 block. Auto Shields does most of that for us, which means we go zap, bite, bite. That seems like pretty solid. We'll take a little bit of damage, but we healed some of that already, so... And now we're getting a little bit of ground on his health bar. The good news about this fight is these guys don't ever really get any stronger. They don't have any buff spells. It's more the debuffs that really get to you. So this weakness is going to be problematic for us. And the wound cards can really start to stack up, which can be a problem. But I think we're in a pretty good spot here. Alright, if we can get a couple of lucky dual strikes here. Nope, not quite, but we still have these, so still chance. And I can still play one of these. Okay, good. One more down, and now this guy should be pretty easy to get off the field. Melter, static discharge, defend. Bites. There's our 4. Order is irrelevant. MLC static discharge give us some help for the first time, but a little too late. So that's going to generate another orb for us. And there's our lethal. Definitely lost some health, but this was an elite, and a burning elite at that, so let's see what we ended up with. A little bit of gold. Every 4th room is a treasure. That could be really good for us. We definitely need ways to get good rewards since we can't use the smithy. And we got the emerald key. There are 3 hidden keys within the game once you've beaten it the first time. One of those keys is always at the Burning Elite. So the first time that you conquer a Burning Elite, you'll get one of the keys. The other 2 you may have seen from time to time. The red key is always at a rest site. You'll have to basically pass on a red site to get the key. And then the blue key is always at one of these treasure sites. But in order to take it, you'll have to pass on one of the relics. And then that unlocks the special secret 4th tier or 4th floor of the game and the final boss. Rip and Tear. Upgraded Rip and Tear. Deal 9 damage to a random enemy twice. 9 damage twice is 18 damage for 1 energy. That is pretty solid. Pile Driver is deal 1, draw 1 for each unique orb. We only have one type of orb at the moment, so this could be draw 1 or draw multiple. And then Hologram, put a card from your discard pile into your hand. This is really good for replaying some of your power cards that either got discarded because they made it to your hand at the wrong time. All of these have interesting use cases. I don't think we need this, even though it's the plus. And the reason we don't need it is because we just picked up a bunch of bites. Also, while it's energy efficient damage, it is random enemy, which means we can't direct it at who we want, unlike, say, the upgraded Melter. I think Hologram actually has a very strong case here. We could pick Melter back up for those critical turns where we need to remove block. We could always just pick up a bite for free healing. We could pick up Equilibrium to retain our hand on a critical place. We could pick up Go for the Eyes when we're out of energy but want to play something, maybe put some weak on an enemy. Sweeping Beam can come back to our hand in AoE fights. Hologram's just a really good card. It's kind of meh for the block, but if you find a chance to play one of your better cards off of it, I think it's worth a pickup. Alright, and we get our free healing. So here is the ruby key. We could grab this if we wanted to skip healing or smithing, but we are going to do that on another playthrough, not this one. Ooh. Okay. This could be a really good card against the boss. We've talked about it before. It's upgraded in this particular variant, and it goes to 0 energy after it's been played twice. We're definitely going to be cycling our deck against some of these longer boss fights. And so getting this down to 0 and having just more opportunities to play defensive cards while still dealing significant damage every turn feels pretty solid. So I like that play. Melter could come in a little clutch here. This is a situation where we're going to get it too early to really utilize it, but that's where maybe our hologram comes into play, just like we talked about. Alright, with 4 energy and 8 damage coming our way, we should probably play the defend, which means we have 3 cards. I'm looking at these 2 plus the loop. But we'll see what we get from Sweeping Beam first. Okay. How much do I care about 8 health? We're gonna see our spites. We're gonna see our healing card. Maybe we just go all in here. Face take the 8 here and look for better defensive cards to play later. Because this is a really good chance to deal damage and generate an orb, where this is just generate an orb. So I like the efficiency of this a little bit better. Loop is essentially like having 2 free orbs in play. Hologram into Melter feels really good here. Oh, he didn't put it on himself though, so actually we want to finish him off first. Alright, well there's our self-repair. Streamline is 20. Bite is 14 with 4 health gain. So something like 14 damage and 4 block, essentially, from this attack. And then we multicast an orb. The problem is multicasting, if it hits her, feels really bad. If it hits him, it's okay. I think we're going to pass on the Streamline here, even though it's slightly more damage. This is more block. Even though it's not really block, but it's more health. And I definitely want to play that. Yeah, evoking this orb one time just doesn't feel good, because if it hits here, it's just 8 into the 12 block and doesn't do anything. So we'll pass. Alright, dual cast feels a little bit better here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. I like the health mitigation the best right here. This will generate another orb. This will evoke an orb twice and potentially kill him. Right? No. 16. But it consumes the orb, which leaves 3. That's only 19. It's literally 1 damage shy. So static discharge it is. Get our 3rd orb now. And that's getting a little... Look at that. All of our defensive cards at the bottom of our deck. Really, really stinking annoying. What would we want to pick up here? We got 24 health. This is an opportunity to pick up something like Streamline for 20 damage or Sweeping Beam for 9 damage to both targets. Honestly, I think it's Streamline because this gives us a chance to kill him. Hologram into Streamline leaves him with 4 health. If 2 of these 3 strike him instead of her, that's lethal on him. That's the only real play we have to kill somebody this game. So and all of these are kind of pointless anyway, so the energy doesn't really matter all that much. And we didn't get it. Go figure. Still worked out for us. He summoned the block on her again, so this would be a cool spot for Melter again, but we don't have it in hand. This is just an aggressive turn, so generating this orb will automatically evoke the one in the front. Then bite, bite, go for the eyes, and she will heal some of that off, but not all of it. And now this is a situation where she poses very little threat to us. This is going to kill her eventually no matter what, but the better thing to do would be to like sift through our deck as long as possible and land as many bites as we can to get some of our health back. So I think I'm actually just going to like pass this turn over. We'll deal 9 damage, she'll heal 16. Honestly, without us attacking her, this could be a scenario where we could heal all the way back to full if we wanted to waste enough time to do that. Depending on how frequently she's healing herself as opposed to doing other activities. Alright, we can get the bite. 2 bites in. Reinforce for 14 so she can't hurt us. And the loop will kill her, finish her off. Yeah. So we got 4 more health. And another set of cards. I'm very, very hesitant to take anything that's not upgraded at this point. It's got to be like so good, and none of these are. Cool-headed is just card draw and generate a frost, so it sort of cycles your deck a little bit. The upgraded version of this is 2 cards, so it's even better, but it's just a quick way to generate some frost, which is defensive stats. We don't really need that, and it's not upgraded, so we're going to pass on it. Okay, so here's the Sapphire Key. If we take this, we have to skip out on this. Man, we're going to have a lot of gold. This isn't going to get much use, unfortunately. Go for the eyes, defend, ball lightning. Yeah. What do I do here? I'm trying to think. If my only card that I have to play attack-wise is this, and and I can play this to block all of that, or I can play this to block all of that. Then shouldn't we just focus this guy down? Play this, and then we can hold those two cards till next turn. If we need them, cool. If not, also fine, because we were going to pitch them anyways. Feels good. Alright, he's about to do that Vex Hex Curse thing. So many defensive cards in our hand again. This just feels bad. That's for sure. That's for sure. I could pick the Melter up and play it again. If we pick the Melter up and play it again, we very nearly set up lethal, but we take 3 damage that we really don't need to take. Is there anything better that I could pick up? Pick up the Ball Lightning and get another Lightning Orb charged up. Honestly, that doesn't sound terrible. Sweeping Beam feels pretty solid here. Tempted to trust that we're going to get at least one of these. And just start going to ham on this guy. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Well, it still worked out just fine. This card has felt extremely underwhelming. I'd be tempted to remove it. It seems like a card that never gets played. Oof. This constantly getting all of our attack cards and all of our defense cards is really becoming a bullshit. It's happened far too many times at this point. Streamline loop. We're managing to maintain our health pretty good. We're staying in the low 40s despite the fact that we're taking damage now. Darkness orbs are interesting. They don't do anything until they're evoked, but every turn that they stay on the orb, they charge up more and more damage, and then once they're evoked, they can go off for really big damage. Card draw. Draw 2 cards. Add a burn. I don't like that. I think, if anything, we take another auto shields here. I just don't know if another defensive card is really what we need. having another good defensive card wouldn't be terrible. Like, how many good defensive cards do we have? We've got a Leap, which is average. We've got the Reinforced Body, which is average. We've got an Auto Ship, which is average. We have no... Equilibrium's probably our best block card, honestly. I think we'll take it, and hopefully not regret that decision. Ah, yes. Thunderstrike is definitely on my short list. Gold-plated cables. Your rightmost orb triggers its passive an additional time. Whenever you would receive 5 or less unblocked attack damage, reduce it to 1. Interesting. Start each combat with 1 artifact. Okay. I like a lot of these. We have 577 gold. So we always get 2 attack cards. This is an amazing attack card, especially for our very lightning orb focused build. Deal 7 damage to a random enemy for each lightning channeled this combat. The more channels that we get, the more damage this card does. It is not upgraded. That is the only downside. In fact, none of these are upgraded. I could literally buy both of these and still have like some pocket change. Like, how many times are we taking 5 damage or less? We have a lot of defensive cards. Reducing the damage to 1 is really interesting because we can channel a lot of lightning orbs with our 1 power. If you have no attacks in your hand, draw 2 cards. That solves one of our problems we've been having. I'm sure if I take this card, we'll never have that problem again. Very, very cheap hologram. Having a second copy of hologram. Probably not the worst card ever to have in our deck. Is this worth, like, an extra 3 damage every round? That is the question. I don't think it is. I think this is probably worth... I think this is probably worth... I think this is maybe worth... That would actually work too. With our low health total, anything that we can, like, grab... to conserve some of our health, and hopefully that was enough. This is kind of a scary fight. Less scary with Melter, if we can get it in hand at the right moment. Six and 6 is 12, and 6 is 18. This is like a bite reinforced body. This is 14. We can actually double bite reinforced body. We absorb the 12. The 2 rolls over to this. We take 4, which is reduced to 1. Yay, more math. It's probably these 4 cards. That is not what I wanted to see, but it's still fine. We take 1. Double defend makes this 1. Streamline good enough here, or do we just double bite? Double bite doesn't work because the 14 armor, so it's just streamline. Break the armor, get some damage in. Dual cast, yeah. This is good. Then it's cheaper next turn. Static discharge feels pretty solid. Leap gets half of this damage off of us. Sweeping blade gets us a draw. We haven't channeled enough. Only 2 channels so far. Okay, that gets us into loop. Okay. Well, leap is 100% for sure. Static discharge feels pretty good. And ball lightning gets some damage on the body, plus channels an orb. Alright, now we have Melter. And we have auto shields. I like this. I like go for the eyes is free. I like auto shields for the block. I like hologram for the pickup. And then we have 1 energy, so what's our best 1 energy play? It's either Melter again or no. Streamline for 20. There's the kill. Well, we found this again. We drew it at the worst possible time you can draw it. Okay. Having those holograms to pick that up when this is really full is a way to mitigate the bad luck of having it at the wrong time. I like auto shields here. Could actually even pick it up to get some more block. We have to play as many cards as possible and save 1 energy. So we need to play 3 cards. So it's 1, 2. Which of these do we play? It's got to be the bite. Play the auto shields hologram into this, that. Survive a turn. Scary if we don't kill something here pretty soon. hologram into a bite. Streamline. Play the bite. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ugh. Why would I do that when I could just do this into this into this? Streamline into melter, hologram into stack. It's like 12. So I could get 5 block, or I could... No, I miscounted. Because Streamline isn't reduced this turn yet, because I haven't played it yet. None of these are 0, so we're just stuck playing the 5 block or the zap. Playing hologram now is worthless because we'd be out of energy and we have no 0 cost cards to pick up. When this goes to 0, however, hologram into that's really good. So yeah, we just eat the hit here, which feels bad, but... what can I do? Get 28 block out of this. Get 21 block, which reduces the 24 down to 1 point of damage after the overflow. We need to be killing things, and we're just not. Static discharge is going to be important here. Both at the same health total. 14 block. We'll get 1 more lightning orb from the overflow. Got to get these guys dead like soon. I'm feeling like our damage is really underwhelming. This is 21. 21's not enough yet. Oh. 30 damage. Snecko oil into the equilibrium and pray. That definitely helps. We make sure we play this last because more cards will be in the discard pile. Evoke this for 1 and play the stack. Yeah. Okay. think Sweeping Blade is lethal here. Alright, that was scary. Tempest Plus. Yes, please. I'm nervous. This is a tough one. I think with 3 potions we'll be okay, but I'm gonna have to remember to use them. Like, we're probably throwing the vulnerable on him, for sure. Tempest is nice here. This is only going to be 1 point of damage, so we're not even going to bother blocking it. Static Discharge feels good. Lightning Orb feels good. Tempest feels pretty good. Now, we've already got 5 Channel Lightning on turn 1. This is already a way better card, and the longer the game goes on, the more better it will get. How did he go up to 5? Oh, he has the angry thing, huh? Do we throw out Plate Armor? Or the Vulnerable? We don't throw out the Vulnerable until we're ready to throw like a bunch of bites out. Alright. This damage output is really help a lot. Melter would be good here. Sweeping Beam is really good here for sure. Auto shields for this is probably good here. That's good here for sure. What would we hologram for? I'd consider hologramming for another Sweeping Beam. I'd consider hologramming for... Go for the eyes? No. I'd consider hologramming for Ball Lightning. I think Sweeping Beam is a good hologram. Okay, and then here we either auto shield or bite or dual cast. 16. Prevent 11. Take 1, take 6, take 7. I played those in the wrong order and got nothing for it. Well, that feels pretty bad, so I'm going to go ahead and take this for my mistake. Okay, he's summoning. This gives us time to do self-repair and bite. Then I can multicast that. Alright, everybody's defending. What can we do? How many chances do I have for lethal here? I can pretty much kill both of these if I'm a little bit lucky with the strikes. Streamline takes him out. Light gets him within lethal. Zap gives me another lightning chance to make sure that happens. They all went on the wrong one. Feels bad. Melter feels good here. I think we just hologram for something. I'm trying to decide what to hologram for. I think we hologram for Streamline and just deal damage. So we use the bite to kill him. Hologram for the Streamline. Get it down to 0 cost. Alright, another turn of bites would be really nice. Get some off. There's 1. There's 2. No way to draw anymore. So this is just like bite, bite, ball lightning. Considered, we're still just below 40 health, so we're in pretty good shape. Molten Egg. Whenever you add an attack card to your deck, upgrade it. All attack cards from now on will be upgraded. That is amazing, considering we cannot. I'm really feeling like we made a mistake grabbing the other one now, but I'm going to take 2 of them. We're going to rest. Barrage. Deal 6 damage for each channeled orb. 6 times 3 is 18 for 1. Scales off strength. Sunder. Deal 32 damage. If this kills an enemy, gain 3 energy back. Charge battery we've talked about. I like the barrage here just because we need more cheap attack cards. Feels like our damage output is just not what it needs to be. If this were a fight where Sunder was more valuable, I would consider it. There are some fights where Sunder does become more valuable because it's more likely to go off for free. I really like having Tempest in our opening hand. I really like the idea of Tempest hologram. Tempest, but we can't do that on the same turn. Having hologram in our opening hand feels really shitty. How much damage do we want to prevent at the very beginning here? Barrage pairs nice with vulnerable too. But only having 1 attack card in hand means you probably don't want to play this right here. Is it like defend, hologram, defend, Tempest? No, we want to play the barrage. Yeah, it's like that. Liquid Memories is game-changing. This could literally get us lethal if we can get enough lightning charges. Alright, 3 attacks. Is this good enough for the vulnerable potion? I think we wait for a slightly better hand. Melter? Melter? Sweeping beam into Melter? 3, 4. Good chance that if we draw a defensive card, we're playing it. We did get a defensive card. We are going to play it. Loop is a must-play here. We need to start getting value out of the long game. And this is going to charge another lightning, which is going to set up our multicast. Might also... No, we can't play it for 0. The card feels so bad. I'm really regretting picking it up. Any opportunity to let it go. Feels bad not to have Melter the turn he had the block up, but what you can do? Name of the game here is get as many lightning strikes as we can so that we can liquid memories this twice in one turn for like massive damage. So static discharges for sure. Melter, Bite, Zap feels good. Is there something better than Melter, Bite, Zap? I don't think there is. It's too expensive to try to pick that up when I could just play these 3. Getting those lightning charges is really where it's at. Alright, playing Streamline here feels good. Equilibrium Leap. Oof. Okay, Stack. This feels a lot better. 3 plus 15, or no, it's a total of 15 block. 15 and 6 is 21. That's enough. 15 and 6 is 21. We don't care about self-repair. Do we want to keep these cards for next turn? 12 and 1. So if I just play these 2, I can go ahead and trigger the Streamline, but I don't get to play them next turn. Let's look at our next hand. Next hand, we have 2 options for defenses. I'm not worried about it. So this is a Streamline into Leap, into Stack, and now we take 1. So Stack Plus coming in big there. We're up to 7, so this is 35 damage. 35 damage, and we only get to play 1 card, and it would be this. What are our other options? Other options are Bite, Dual Cast. Bite is 5, Dual Cast is 16, that's 21. 21 and basically 13 block between these. 21 and 13 block. Or... $35 and 11 block. This is the bigger one. We're at 7 times 8. No need for Melter. 12 block. I think we just go Equilibrium, hold this till next turn, There's another one. All right, 9. 9 times 7 is 63. 10 times 7 is 70. 70 played twice is 140. 140 plus 7 plus... We're so close. Is this the moment that we just go for it? The problem is if we don't get it, there's a chance he goes into crazy mode. We have a really good setup for the vulnerable potion, so I think we're going to go with that. Which means I'm going to say goodbye to this. And I may regret that. We're so close. I think we do it. Oh, this is an attack card. It benefits from the vulnerable. Oh, we just won. All right. I was a little worried there because I know he's going to swing for like 50. If we don't get a block card with only 23 health, we're just dead. And not just one block card, but like all of the block cards. So that was a little nerve-wracking, but I had a plan and the plan worked. We were able to execute. We got a potion back. Interesting. Meteor Strike Plus. In order to play Meteor Strike, you have to have ways to generate extra energy, which we don't. But I don't know if this card is ever worth it. 5 for 30 damage just doesn't feel like enough, even when you're channeling 3 plasma. Just doesn't feel like a good card. Rainbow could be interesting. Helps fill our orbs up, but I'm really more interested in just getting the lightning orbs. Buffer can be absolutely amazing if played at the critical moments. It's kind of pricey otherwise, and it's way better upgraded. But I think it's too good to pass up because it can absolutely save your butt. Ooh, okay. Frozen core replaces cracked core. That means we start with a frost orb, and it will autofill any empty slot with frost orbs from the rest of the game. It's more powerful in some ways, but it's more defensive in others, and I'm not sure that's the way we want to roll, especially with all the lightning synergies that we have in our deck. Slaver's Collar just gives us an extra energy during boss and elite fights only. Incentivizes us to take those boss and elite fights. Pick up Gate a potion, 50 gold, 5 max health, obtain 1 card, and upgrade 1 random card. We can't upgrade cards, so this is actually a way to maybe hit one of our really critical cards and make it better. This is actually the best pick here, so I think it's the tiny house for sure. Okay, we got an upgrade to ball lightning. Not the best pick, but one that we're definitely going to play a lot. Got a colorless potion. And our second Go for the Eyes upgraded, our first Cold Snap upgraded, or another Leap unupgraded. The Leap is a definite no. The card is probably the Go for the Eyes, because we don't really care about generating a single Frost Orb every now and then. But Go for the Eyes with the double Weak can allow us to apply Weak more reliably and carry it over to important turns where it really needs to be. So we'll take that. And that's going to be it for this video. We'll pick up with the beginning of Act 3 next time. This run is going very well. I'm a little concerned that we don't have the damage we need to win some of these fights without sort of my gimmick that we came up with. But the cool thing is all attack cards from now on are going to be upgraded versions. So we have the potential to build a lot more attack into our deck. I think our defenses are pretty solid. They could definitely use some smoothing out, but we're getting there. We're getting there. And starting with 2 potions and some gold means that we'll have an opportunity to maybe do a removal here. But we'll look at all of that next time on the Nose Play Slay the Spire. So until then, this has been the Nose Plays, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.